Good afternoon. I'm Melissa Hui.
And I'm Alicia Gunther. Today on the Badger Report, we will have updates on all things Madison, and it's been a busy week. Coming up in today's economy, is there still a future in family dairy farms?
And later, Forward Madison advances to the postseason, fueled by fan support.
But first, we'll give the latest updates on the video that has sparked concerns about how minorities are represented on campus.
From Vilas Hall on the UW-Madison campus, this is the Badger Report.
Students at UW-Madison are criticizing a homecoming video that features no student of color.
The Badger Report's Caitlin Rowe joins us on set to explain the video and what has been happening since its release.
Thank you, Alyssa. It began with the release of a video last Sunday for Madison's homecoming, featuring student organizations celebrating the new school year. The problem? Everyone featured in the video was white, something that senior Peyton Wade says is problematic.
This is an issue that we see all the time with this university, where they try to not include our stories, students of color, when they're talking about this university. We're often overlooked, and we often don't feel like this university is home.
On a campus where less than 25% of students are people of color, Wade says it's important to be represented and that more Badgers deserve to feel at home.
Recognize that even though there aren't many of us, we should still be seen in videos that make up what this university considers home.
Wade says that students of color on campus are underrepresented. UW student Dylan Helmenstein, who was in the video, echoes this. He says there needs to be more discussion around diversity on campus and encourages other students to see how videos like this affect students of color, and that answers may lie with the individual.
I just think it's really important for people, white people, to not just think like, oh, that was wrong and move on. I think it's really important for you to admit to yourself that you have these inner prejudices, because otherwise, you're never going to improve yourself either. And if you're not improving yourself, you can't expect an institution to do it yourself. So
the Alumni Association, which oversees the homecoming video, apologized last Friday, saying, "We stand with our students of color and hear their voices with a clear commitment to action, not only about the video, but their broader experiences of exclusion on campus. While we have a number of efforts underway aimed at improving campus climate, this incident presents an important opportunity to reaffirm our commitments to bring about meaningful change." The email claims that the university plans to develop more effective diversity training for all student organizations and establish review protocols for future content. We will also continue our dialogue with students, alumni, faculty, staff, and community members. Your courage to speak your truth makes our campus and community stronger. Speaking the truth is exactly what students like Peyton urge others to do when controversies like this arise.
You agree with me and you feel the same way, to just to speak up about it and let your voice be heard, because we are here and we deserve to be here.
So, Caitlin, has anything come from the Alumni Association's address?
Yes, I spoke with university spokesperson Meredith McGlone, and she says that the university will remain in close contact with several student organizations in trying to develop more inclusivity. While I did try reaching out to the homecoming committee, they declined to speak with me until after homecoming weekend.
Thank you, Caitlin. Madison Police Chief Mike Koval resigned his position last week, and the city has been working to adjust ever since. The next commission made up of 5 citizen volunteers. Interim Chief Victor Wall assures Madison residents these changes will not affect police departments in public service.
Governor Tony Evers issued pardons to 4 different people on Monday. A pardon gives an individual with a past conviction a number of rights back, like the ability to vote and own a gun. These are the first pardons Governor Evers has made since being elected, and the first in the state in 9 years.
National coverage on the dangers of vaping has created a debate on how bad the habit really is.
While vaping has been linked to complications and at least 19 deaths, local students have not done much to quit. The Badger Report's Lucas Luttrell has more.
Over 1,000 people nationwide have been hospitalized due to vaping-related illnesses, with nearly 70 cases confirmed in Wisconsin alone. But are these startling statistics compelling UW students to stop vaping?
I've thought about quitting, but I know I wouldn't based on the stories that I've heard.
In response to these cases, lawmakers around the country are moving to ban flavored vaping products, despite the Center for Disease Control finding that the vast majority of those injured reported vaping THC, a component of marijuana that is illegal in many states. Adrian Holtzman of Classy Glass says that if unregulated black market products are what's causing these injuries, banning over-the-counter vaping products could make the problem worse.
What's that going to do? It's going to push that underground. Now you're going to have people making knockoff Juul pods and nicotine devices. Why?
Dr. Doug Jorenby of UW Center for Tobacco Research and Intervention says that most of the long-term effects of vaping are still being researched, but he did offer this piece of advice.
Even, if you're using essentially a clean vape, that there's nothing, no contaminants in there that are going to end up with you in the critical care unit, you're putting yourself at risk for transitioning to something, smoking, that we know kills about 1 in 2 long-term users. So, not really great odds.
For the Badger Report, I'm Lucas Lateral.
Thanks, Lucas. The Wisconsin environmental officials say some creeks in Dane and Monroe counties are contaminated with chemicals known as PFAS. The chemical is usually found in non-stick products like firefighting foam.
Governor Evers has changed what has been known to Columbus Day as Indigenous Peoples Day. Wisconsin is the 8th state to do so. Indigenous Peoples Day is on the second Monday of October. Wisconsin is often called America's Dairyland, but is that still true?
At Madison's World Dairy Expo, family dairy farms looked into their future. The Badger Report's Laura Bunn has the story.
For Casey Pfaff, dairy farming is a family affair. A fourth-generation dairy farmer, Pfaff has been lucky so far, but many family farms have been hit hard by low milk prices and higher costs of living.
It's almost impossible to have enough cash to cash flow from just a little family dairy. It's hard.
It is a widespread issue that is causing America's dairyland to rapidly lose family farms.
If you go back and I talk to my dad, my grandfather, they've had challenges through the years. An awful lot of them have been different economic challenges, so I think there'll always be a place for the family farm.
While family farms face financial strains, experts believe there are solutions.
You need to diversify and you need to think about alternative sources for revenue. So I love to milk cows, but maybe could I have, school groups come out and be a revenue stream? Could I make a product? Could I compost the manure and sell it to gardeners?
Pfaff's family has found success selling cash crops and turning one of their barns into a wedding venue. With a variety of solutions available, Pfaff is hopeful for the future of his family's farm.
It takes a lot of time and hard work to make a farm run, and it's not worth it to go backwards.
While the future of dairy farming is evolving, the farmers behind the operation believe it is here to stay. For the Badger Report, I'm Laura Bunn.
Coming up on the Badger Report, the use of marijuana in Wisconsin is a hot government topic. We'll see how a recent festival in Madison rallies support for their views on the subject.
And later, Freak Fest, an annual Halloween music festival, brings lots of visitors to Madison. See how university housing prepares for the busy dorms and find out if there are rules that you need to follow next on the Badger Report.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.
More than a century ago, we made a commitment to our state. We promised to educate the sons and daughters of Wisconsin. More than 1 million students have passed through our doors. Our alumni have gone on to cure diseases, grow crops, build skyscrapers, found companies, score touchdowns, orbit the moon, and achieve beyond our wildest dreams, but not beyond theirs. On Wisconsin.
A pulse. felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some, a shiver, felt by many, until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one, tilting the world on its axis.
At the turn of the last century, we made a promise to our state. We promised that we would not rest until we made life better for Wisconsin. We looked in our own backyard and we planted different crops, bred new herds, identified vitamins, improved harvesting machinery, established food safety standards, and churned a lot of ice cream. We haven't stopped working to make life better for our state and the world on Wisconsin.
On Tuesday, the Wisconsin Senate was in session with a bill about hemp on the docket. The bill updates Wisconsin hemp regulation after the government okayed the crop in last year's farm bill. The bill lowers the amount of THC hemp can have to match the current federal level of 0.3%.
The issue goes further than that with the hemp bill. With the Wisconsin activists rallying for more rights with cannabis, the Badger Report's Will Keneally has more.
Thanks for coming to the 49th Annual Great Midwest Marijuana Harvest Festival!
A rainy Saturday did not deter people from coming out to Library Mall over the weekend. Eric Marsh, a member of the advocacy group NORML, braved the downpour for a mission.
We're out here every year, collecting petition signatures, selling merch, and trying to get more people involved with the movement.
Marsh and his group are pushing for full legalization of recreational and medicinal cannabis.
Advocates are also pushing for action in the state capitol behind me.
For those like 11-year-old Nora Lau, that policy push is personal.
I have had seizures that would not stop. My muscles get really tight, and it is really, really painful.
She talked about her struggles with Rett syndrome. Her parents say that she's an energetic child before the neurological disorder took control over her body movements.
We feel that having full medical cannabis legislation here will be able to take that next step to control her seizures naturally.
A bill to let the Laus use medical cannabis is currently tied up in the Republican-controlled state legislature. Republican Senator Patrick Teston supports the measure, but he says the bill will be a hard sell in a Republican caucus.
They're not supportive, and they have a number of different reasons and concerns.
On the Assembly side, Speaker Robin Vos says he would be open to considering medical marijuana, but the wavering in the Senate leaves the bill's future unclear. For the Badger Report, I'm Will Keneally.
Thanks, Will. The Wisconsin Science Festival runs from October 17th to the 20th with more than 250 events across the state. Events range from art exhibits, tours, and panels and breakout discussions. A full list of events is available on the festival's website, and a lot of them are held here in Madison.
Wisconsin's largest annual Halloween party is right around the corner, and it does have a reputation of getting out of hand. The Badger Report's Lexi Schweinard shows us what university officials have planned.
In just 1 week, one of the most anticipated events of the year for non-Madison students will be upon us.
I just know that it's just this huge Halloween party, kind of.
The name of this event is Freak Fest. Even though it may be a fun weekend for those attending, UW staff must prepare for the spooky madness.
We have done for a good long while now a no guest policy that weekend from I think it's Thursday through Sunday. And so if you do live with us in the residence halls, you cannot bring in guests who are not other residence hall students.
This dorm, Whitty, is one of 20 residence halls on the UW-Madison campus. Each dorm requires tight security that weekend, starting on Thursday and going through to Sunday, to ensure that no guests are coming into the building.
All of the buildings we kind of operate a little bit differently because the need is just different. You know, some of our buildings in the southeast where there's just a lot more people walking around down there in State Street, we just want to have a little more staffing in place to make sure that our buildings are safe, that nobody's coming in who doesn't belong there.
Not only do UW residence halls prepare for the influx of visitors, the UW Police Department takes precautionary measures as well.
We have extra officers who patrol the unions, extra officers who are patrolling the residence halls, and then we also send some officers over to State Street.
With these things in mind, students should have a safe Freak Fest weekend. For the Badger Report, I'm Lexi Schweinard.
If you're going to the farmers market or football game this weekend, you'll want to stick around with us for weather updates.
It's going to get cold. Talil is next with the details on the Badger Report.
A pulse, felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some. A shiver, felt by many, until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one, tilting the world on its axis.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.
More than a century ago, we made a commitment to our state. We promised to educate the sons and daughters of Wisconsin. More than 1 million students have passed through our doors. Our alumni have gone on to cure diseases, grow crops, build skyscrapers, found companies, score touchdowns, orbit the moon, and achieve beyond our wildest dreams, but not beyond theirs. On Wisconsin. In 1905, we made a promise. We promised that our work at Wisconsin would make life better for our state. Our research has developed crops, restored lakes, cured diseases, uncovered history, peered into space, and saved lives. More than a century later, we've not only kept our promise to Wisconsin, we've extended it to the world. On Wisconsin.
Once a year, Weatherby Cranberry Company opens their cranberry harvest to the public. The state of Wisconsin is responsible for 60% of the production of the world's cranberries. Harvest Day, the first Saturday of October, has become an annual tradition for the company and a popular one.
The Wisconsin Department of Transportation is warning the public to slow down and watch for deer. In October and November, deer are more active and causing more vehicle crashes. Officials are asking for people to drive without distractions, wear their seatbelts, and keep an eye out for animals.
Our current stretch of dry weather in Madison has lowered the area's lake levels. After last year's flooding, the trend towards lower lake levels is welcome, according to city engineers, who help to avoid flooding and other issues associated with heavy rains. It's a big weekend in Madison, and we want to make sure you're fully prepared.
The Badger Report's own Talil Mohideen has weather updates.
Thanks, Alyssa and Alicia. We've got scattered showers throughout the day today. Temperatures are on par with what we've been experiencing so far this week, peaking at 70 degrees with a low of 61. Tomorrow we'll see an increase in showers with a 90% chance of rain. This will likely persist all morning into the early evening, so be sure to pack an umbrella. Friday temperature as high as 64 with a low of 35. Just in time for homecoming weekend, it looks like fall will be making an appearance. Be prepared for mostly cloudy weather both days as temperatures start to cool down. On Saturday, you can expect a high of 45 and a low of 37. As you can see, not much change on Sunday with a high of 44 and a low of 35. That's the weather for this weekend. Back to you.
Thanks, Talil. Next on the Badger Report, professional soccer has come to Madison.
We'll see the link between Forward Madison and their fans that have led them to victory.
A pulse, felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some. A shiver, felt by many, until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one, tilting the world on its axis.
More than a century ago, we made a commitment to our state. We promised to educate the sons and daughters of Wisconsin. More than 1 million students have passed through our doors. Our alumni have gone on to cure diseases, grow crops, build skyscrapers, found companies, score touchdowns, orbit the moon, and achieve beyond our wildest dreams, but not beyond theirs. On Wisconsin.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, We're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.
In 1905, we made a promise. We promised that our work at Wisconsin would make life better for our state. Our research has developed crops, restored lakes, cured diseases, uncovered history, peered into space, and saved lives. More than a century later, we've not only kept our promise to Wisconsin, we've extended it to the world. On Wisconsin.
Local university and sports teams have been busy this past week.
The Badger Report's Lucas Lateral joins us to tell us some sports updates.
Thanks, Alyssa. The Wisconsin Badgers football team rolled to 5-0 this past Sunday after defeating the Kent State Golden Flashes 48-0. Running back Jonathan Taylor had a monstrous outing, rushing for 186 yards and 4 touchdowns on 19 carries, while the Badger defense held Kent State to just 124 yards in total offense. The 8th-ranked Badgers will face off against Michigan State at Camp Randall this Saturday for their homecoming game. The Badger men's soccer team suffered a tough overtime loss against Michigan State on Sunday, after Michigan State scored off a corner kick in the 94th minute of the game to put them over the Badgers by a score of 2-1. The Badgers have struggled this season and have not won a game since they defeated Lehigh University over a month ago on September 8th. They'll aim to break their losing streak when they play at Rutgers tomorrow night. Luckily, though, for soccer fans, the Badger women's team continued their successful season last Saturday with a 1-0 win over Purdue. Freshman Jenna Kiraly scored the deciding goal, the first of her career as a Badger. The team is 5-0 in the Big Ten and will try to remain undefeated when they face the Minnesota Golden Gophers at home tonight. The Badger women's hockey team improved to 4-0 after they defeated Penn State in 2 games last weekend. The Badgers defeated Penn State 3-0 last Saturday, with junior Darryl Watts scoring in both the first and third periods, and fellow junior Caton Schneider also putting up a goal in the third. The team will look to continue their success as they face off against Ohio State tomorrow night in Columbus. The Badger men's hockey team will also play tomorrow as they kick off their regular season game with a game against Boston College in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Men's hockey is looking to improve this season after being eliminated in the first round of the Big Ten men's hockey tournament by Penn State last year. Forward Madison has looked as tough as its competition during their inaugural season this year. They defeated the Lansing Ignite 1-0 Saturday in their final regular season game, moving them into the playoffs. To get a look at how the team has come this far, the Badger Report's Montana Leggett has more.
Head coach Daryl Shore knows coaching a new team isn't easy, but this team has risen to the occasion.
It's, I think, a testament to what our club has done in the first year.
Shore says the team has worked through a challenging schedule to get to where they are now. Madison's home atmosphere has been a crucial motivator during the season.
I think the atmosphere at home, our fan support throughout the year.
Forward Brian Beeman says fans have equally stepped up this season.
It just makes a big difference coming in, especially playing at home, knowing that we're going to have essentially a 12th man supporting us at all times.
He says the core group of fans known as the Flock help further the team's success at home and on the road. One of the Flock's founding members, Nick Adam, says fans have become like a close family. This helps them create many unique chants and cheers.
We chant along to the Tetris theme song from the OG, NES Game Boy game. You jump back and forth in the rows, and when you're watching from a distance, it creates a cool illusion.
Adam says he looks forward to what fans will bring this postseason and into next season. The postseason will bring many opportunities for the team and maybe even some new fan traditions. Fans, players, and coaches say fan support will continue driving the team forward as they move into the upcoming games. For the Badger Report, I'm Montana Leggett.
Alyssa and Alicia, Forward Madison is ranked number 4 and will take on number 1 ranked North Texas on Saturday night at 7 p.m.
Thanks, Lucas, for keeping us updated on everything sports. So, and if you're going to the Badger game this weekend, you might notice something new.
We'll tell you who that is up next on the Badger Report.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.
More than a century ago, we made a commitment to our state. We promised to educate the sons and daughters of Wisconsin. More than 1 million students have passed through our doors. Our alumni have gone on to cure diseases, grow crops, build skyscrapers, found companies, score touchdowns, orbit the moon, and achieve beyond our wildest dreams, but not beyond theirs. On Wisconsin.
A pulse, felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some. A shiver, felt by many, until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one, tilting the world on its axis.
At the turn of the last century, we made a promise to our state. We promised that we would not rest until we made life better for Wisconsin. We looked in our own backyard and we planted different crops, bred new herds, identified vitamins, improved harvesting machinery, established food safety standards, and churned a lot of ice cream. We haven't stopped working to make life better for our state and the world. On Wisconsin.
There's a new face on the football field at halftime.
The Wisconsin Marching Band has welcomed Corey Pompey as their new director this year after Mike LaCrone resigned at the end of the 2019 school year. Pompey took the reins. You can catch him directing the band in their medley of songs at the football game this Saturday.
With the homecoming game on Saturday, there's a lot going on in Madison to celebrate and prepare. Spend your weekend watching the parade, taking part in free food, games, and more. For a full list of the homecoming fun, visit the Badger Report's website. That is it for this week's broadcast.
Thanks for tuning in.
For the Badger Report, I'm Alicia Gunther.
And I'm Melissa Hui. Have a great weekend.